In the heart of a quiet suburban town, behind a mask of painted joy and laughter, lurked a man whose actions would haunt the nation for years to come. John Wayne Gacy, a respected businessman, community leader, and family man, harbored a monstrous secret. But the world did not know that beneath his clownish exterior, a killer was born. This is the chilling tale of John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. Born on March 17, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois, John Wayne Gacy's childhood was one marred by emotional scars. The son of a strict alcoholic father, young John often found himself caught between a brutal disciplinarian and a mother who struggled to protect him. In a home filled with shouting and torment, Gacy's foundation was laid. But it was not just the harshness of his environment that shaped him. It was the profound isolation, the abuse, and the lack of emotional nurturing that carved the path to his future. Perhaps it was in these early years that Gacy's mind began to fracture. A young boy who dreamt of power and control, seeking refuge in his fantasy world, far removed from the cruelty of his father's hands. In the early 1970s, John Wayne Gacy presented a different face to the world, a man of success, respectability, and charm. A thriving businessman and active member of his local community, he was known as a generous host and a well-liked figure. But beneath his outward charm, something sinister was brewing. Gacy was not the man he appeared to be. He was a predator, hidden behind a facade of normalcy. His alter ego, Pogo the Clown, would become his most chilling mask. Donned in a colorful costume and white face paint, he performed at charity events and children's parties. He was the very image of innocence, a clown, a figure trusted by all. But as he made the children laugh behind closed doors, he was preparing for something far darker. It wasn't long before Gacy's predatory nature began to manifest. His first victims, teenage boys, were lured to his home with promises of work, money, and in some cases the false allure of a safe haven. Once inside, Gacy would turn from charming host to violent predator. His home, which he had presented as a place of comfort, would soon become the site of unspeakable horrors. On December 11, 1976, 15-year-old Timothy McCoy became the first known victim of Gacy's horrifying acts. Lured into Gacy's home with the promise of a job, McCoy met a gruesome end at the hands of the man he trusted. But Timothy McCoy would not be the last, for Gacy's thirst for violence grew, and soon his murder spree would claim far more victims than anyone could fathom. As the bodies piled up, Gacy's house became a prison of horror. His basement, dark, cramped, and suffocating, was where the true extent of his crimes would be revealed. Beneath the floorboards, inside hidden spaces, and sometimes even buried in the very foundation, the bodies of young men were found, each murdered with a chilling precision. Gacy's obsession with control was undeniable, his sadistic tendencies emerging in brutal and shocking ways. Inside his basement, Gacy turned his home into a graveyard. There, beneath the floorboards, was the final resting place of his victims, a twisted, macabre reminder of the terror he inflicted on those who trusted him. On December 21, 1978, the facade finally cracked. A 15-year-old boy, Robert Piest, went missing after he left work to meet with Gacy. What started as a missing persons case soon snowballed into an investigation that would uncover the true horror of Gacy's crimes. Police, tipped off by a concerned family, began to dig deeper, and what they found shocked the world. John Wayne Gacy was arrested, but the horrors didn't end with his capture. The true extent of his crimes would be revealed in the days that followed, far more than anyone could have imagined. The trial of John Wayne Gacy began on February 6, 1980. The case captivated the nation, but Gacy remained defiant, his demeanor unchanged, even as evidence piled against him. The prosecution painted a chilling portrait of a man who lived a double life, a man whose clownish persona masked his inner monster. Gacy's calmness, his refusal to show remorse, sent shivers down the spines of those who watched. Throughout the trial, Gacy denied the charges, even as overwhelming evidence pointed to his guilt. But the jury saw through his deceit, and on March 13, 1980, Gacy was found guilty of 33 counts of murder. On May 10, 1994, John Wayne Gacy was executed by lethal injection at the Stateville Correctional Center in Illinois. He had lived a life of depravity, hiding his true nature behind a mask of normalcy, and now, at the end of his life, he would face the consequences of his month. But even in his final moments, he remained composed, perhaps believing his facade would endure to the very end. The legacy of John Wayne Gacy lives on. His crimes continue to haunt the families of his victims and the world that watched in horror as the true face of evil was revealed. Gacy's story serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lie hidden behind even the most charming of facades. As time passes, his name remains synonymous with terror, a twisted symbol of how deception can mask the most horrifying of truths. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the life and crimes of John Wayne Gacy. If you want to explore more true crime stories and the dark history behind some of the world's most notorious criminals, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share your thoughts below. Stay tuned for more unsettling tales from the shadows. Until next time, sleep well, if you can.